Hi guys, and welcome back to this journey towards excellent exam results. In these shorter revision videos, we are going to be breaking down different concepts within the GCSE Geography specification. The aim of this is to help us understand the concepts better and to give us the information and confidence we need to answer the examination questions. In today's video, we are going to be talking about where tropical cyclones occur, their different names, and how they form. This is covered in all the GCSE geography specifications. Okay, let's get started. So what are tropical storms? They are rotating systems of clouds and storms that form over tropical waters. And once they form, they start to make their way towards the land. And this can sometimes have devastating effects. Then how do we classify them? We use the Saffir-Simpson scale. Now, as soon as a storm is categorized at, as soon as the wind speeds reach at least 119 kilometers an hour, it now becomes a tropical storm and can be categorized on the Saffir-Simpson scale. So the first category here, as you can see, is between 119 to 153 kilometers an hour, where you have some damage. Then the next category, extensive damage, devastating damage, at the third category, and then fourth and fifth categories have got catastrophic damage. And like you can see that the wind speeds increase as you go up the scale. So what are their names, frequency, and where do they happen? So you can have a look at this map later on, or you can freeze it and have a look at it a little more closely. But they have different names in different parts of the world, but they are it's basically the same thing, just a different name in a different part of the world. So in Southeast Asia here, as you can see, they are called typhoons. In the south of Asia here and around Africa, they are called cyclones. And then in this region between Africa and North America, they are called hurricanes. So around America, they are called hurricanes. Asia, South Asia, cyclones and typhoons in Southeast Asia. Now, where do they occur? They actually occur between 5 and 30 degrees north and south of the equator. And the reason for that is because there are warm seas there where you will have low pressure. And as you can see from the map here as well, the temperatures are over 27 degrees Celsius, which means that there's evaporation taking place here, or there's low pressure. And as a result of that low pressure, there's condensation and formation of clouds, which then gets the storm to begin to form. Now, somebody may ask why they do not occur right at the equator, because as we can see here, it's between 5 and 30 degrees and not 0 to 30 degrees. So around 0 degrees, 0 to 5 degrees, the Coriolis force is too weak for them to form, because we know that for these storms to form, the spin of the earth has got to come into play, and that spin of the earth is caused by the Coriolis force, which is very weak between 0 and 5, and therefore they do not happen right at the equator. So what are some of the hazards they bring? They bring strong winds, they bring heavy rain, they bring storm surges, and they also bring landslides. Okay, so how do tropical storms form? They require, first of all, three main conditions, and the temperatures have to be over 26.5 degrees Celsius to provide a source of moist, warm air, and that's why they form around the tropics. Then you also need 60-meter deep waters, and you also need the Coriolis force, which is the force that is created by the Earth's rotation. That is what causes the storm to begin to spiral and to spin and to move as well. And we can break down the formation of these tropical storms into a couple of simple steps here. And the first one is obviously those warm seas that are providing the moist air that then begins to rise. And as it rises, like we've seen before, it's going to create low pressure. And it leaves a vacuum behind it, obviously, as it rises and well below it, and that vacuum is quickly filled in by the air that is surrounding, rushing into that vacuum and creating very strong winds. Then as the air rises, it will cool down and condense and form big cumulonimbus clouds. And the condensation process as well is going to create latent heat energy, which will power the storm even more. Then thirdly, we have the Coriolis force that now comes in as the air continues to rise. It will begin to spiral around the center of the storm due to this Coriolis force. And as it rises and cools, some of the air will descend through the middle and form a very clear and calm center. So that basically means if it's descending, that it's creating high pressure in the middle of the storm. And this particular part of the storm is referred to as the eye of the storm. So it's a center and it's a lot calmer. And that is due to the descending air which has caused high pressure. Then fourthly, as the storm begins to spiral and move away from the source, it will pick up a lot more moisture as it carries along from the warm ocean waters, and will continue to grow in size as it moves towards where it's going to make landfall if it ever gets there. And once it makes landfall, obviously, it's likely to create quite a bit of damage. But as it moves along the earth, along the land, sorry, it's likely to begin to dissipate. And the reason why it's going to dissipate is because there is no longer a source of warm, moist air to power it, and also it's going to experience quite a bit of friction. Because as you move along the land, you have trees, you have buildings, and those are going to create friction and slow down that spiraling process, and therefore dissipating the storm. That brings us to the end of this video on the formation of tropical cyclones. I hope that you have found the information insightful and useful. I have also done a video on the natural causes of past climate change. It will be linked in the description below and will also pop up as a suggested video at the end of this one. Thanks once again for joining this journey towards excellent exam results. All the best and see you again soon. Bye-bye.